Andrew's exile isn't enough for some critics. Here's what could come next. Welcome back, royal watchers, to Crown Chronicles, the home of royal truth, royal drama, and royal revelations you simply won't hear anywhere else. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, tap that notification bell, and join our incredible community of viewers who love diving deeper into the stories behind the world's most famous monarchy. Trust me, today's episode is one you need to stay with until the very end, because the future of Prince Andrew's place in the royal family may be heading in a direction far more dramatic than anyone expected. For years now, Prince Andrew has lived in what many refer to as a soft exile. Removed from public duties, stripped of his patronages, and forced into the shadows of royal life, he has been largely unseen and unheard, a middle-aged prince living in the fallout of a scandal that changed the public's perception of him forever. But despite the quiet, despite the distance, despite the steps the monarchy has taken to protect itself, there are many who insist his exile isn't enough, and now, those critics, from political commentators to anti-monarchy campaigners and even frustrated members of the public, are calling for something far more severe. Something that could redefine Andrew's future, his title, his home, and perhaps even the monarchy's long-standing traditions. So what exactly are these critics demanding? And what could realistically come next? Let's begin with the truth. While Prince Andrew has disappeared from official royal life, he has not disappeared entirely. He still resides at Royal Lodge, still holds the title Duke of York, and still receives protection and support that many believe he should no longer be entitled to. And while King Charles has tightened the palace walls around him, the public pressure hasn't eased. In fact, it may be intensifying. Behind the scenes, royal insiders say Charles's stance toward his brother has shifted dramatically in recent years. Once known for his loyalty to family, Charles is now seen as a monarch determined to protect the crown at any cost. He understands better than anyone that the public's patience is limited, and that Andrew's presence in the background, even in exile, remains a threat to the monarchy's image, and this is where critics believe the next step must be taken. Some are calling for Andrew to be stripped of his dukedom, arguing that no senior title should be held by someone who has brought such intense controversy to the family. The title Duke of York carries a heavy history, a history tied to the people of an entire region. Many citizens of York have openly expressed discomfort with their city being connected to someone whose public reputation is so tarnished. In fact, there has been growing pressure from local leaders urging the monarchy to take official action. Others believe that removing the dukedom isn't enough. They want Andrew to lose all remaining royal privileges, including the financial support and the use of Royal Lodge, the sprawling estate where he resides. This, they argue, would signify a true separation between Andrew and the institution, sending a message that the monarchy does not tolerate scandal or shadows on its name. But even more surprisingly, there are those pushing for something even more radical, the possibility that Andrew could be removed from the line of succession altogether. While he is nowhere near the throne, the symbolism alone would be powerful. Critics believe such a move would signal to the world that accountability applies even within the House of Windsor. Insiders whisper that the king is quietly exploring options. While he is reluctant to publicly humiliate his brother, Charles also knows that the monarchy is in a fragile era, with public trust tested by scandal, shifting modern values, and questions about the relevance of the institution in a new generation. Every decision he makes reflects not only his leadership but the legacy he wants to leave behind. Meanwhile, the Prince and Princess of Wales reportedly support a future-focused monarchy, one built on stability, dignity, and a cleaner image, something harder to maintain with Andrew lingering in the background. And as William prepares for his eventual role as king, observers say he is even more determined than Charles to limit Andrew's involvement. In private, it's believed William has made it clear, there is no place for Andrew in the monarchy of the future, but here's where the story becomes even more complicated, and where the public conversation takes a bold turn. Andrew himself, according to some insiders, has shown signs of frustration with his indefinite isolation. There are whispers that he hopes to return to some form of public life, or at least restore a sliver of dignity lost in the fallout of the scandal. But such hopes only add fuel to critics' demands for stricter action. To them, silence isn't enough. Exile isn't enough. A step back isn't enough. They want closure. Finality. A royal statement that decisively closes the book on Prince Andrew's role within the institution. Will it happen? That is the question echoing across Britain. Royal historians note that stripping titles has precedent, but it is rare, and often controversial. Removing financial support could be easier, but even that involves delicate maneuvering. And taking Andrew out of the line of succession would be symbolically powerful, but unprecedented in the modern era. Yet, if there's one thing we've learned in recent years, it's that the monarchy can change, and it will change when public pressure becomes impossible to ignore. And as the critics grow louder, as the demands become harder to dismiss, and as the king continues carving out his vision for the future, Andrew may face consequences far harsher than the quiet exile he lives in now. Whatever comes next, one thing is certain: Prince Andrew's story is not over. The monarchy is at a crossroads, and decisions made in the months ahead could shape its reputation for generations. Thank you for joining us on Crown Chronicles. If this story captivated you, and if you want to stay ahead of every royal twist, turn, and revelation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. More royal truth is on the way, and you won't want to miss a single moment. Here, the crown never sleeps, and neither do we.